Happy Asphalt Plant Thursday, everybody. This is a day we've been looking forward to for a really long time in St. Paul. Anybody who's driven our streets recently sees the state that our streets are in. They're in a state of disrepair because of a generation of underinvestment in our streets. Our commercial and arterial streets have about a 60-year expected lifespan. Our administration, I know you've heard us say this before, inherited them on a 124-year replacement cycle. Our streets are talking to us right now to let us know that that doesn't work, to let us know that a generation of disinvestment, of underinvestment, requires a generation of investment, and that's what we're proposing in our community right now. We're excited to get our guys out. Our guys are excited to have the asphalt plant operational. This plant provides asphalt not just for the city of St. Paul, but for communities miles and miles around. And so we're all looking forward to the opportunity to do this. The challenge is when you fill a pothole, what you have is a pothole. Our goal is to transition ourselves from chasing potholes around our community to really rebuilding and reconstructing our streets to ensure that we're building the infrastructure that will pave the way, literally, to St. Paul's future. I've been working on that for a very long time, so please make sure that's in the stories. We are paving. Work is going to require all of us to make an investment in our future. Every day as mayor, I get a chance to lament the decisions that city leaders made 20 years ago to kick a can down the road where our infrastructure was concerned, as opposed to making the sacrifices and investments that are required to ensure that we're building the infrastructure for the next generation of our city. That's what this is about. This is about a team partnership. It doesn't work without all the staff, all the folks who run the heavy machinery, who get out in our streets and reconstruct those streets and fill our potholes. It doesn't work without the incredible folks in our St. Paul Public Works Department. It doesn't work without the support of our incredible Senate, our legislative delegation. Senator Pappas has been a partner. You'll hear her speak today, and certainly without the support of our city council. Excited to have Councilmember Jalali here with us. Our sales tax proposal is really about two things. It's about reinvesting in our streets. We all know and we all see the need for reinvestment there. And it's also about, and that focuses around the 200 miles of arterial and collector streets that we have citywide. It also, so 75% of our proposal will go straight into rebuilding those arterial and collector streets. 25% of it would go into helping to rebuild our parks spaces. The average age of buildings in our park system is 40 years old. That obviously needs a refresh. We have the #2 park system in the country, second only to Washington, D.C., and they have federal funding for the National Mall. So we're excited about that, and we have to make sure that we invest to preserve that asset, that resource for the next generation. Must be said, when we look at our streets and we look at our parks, a significant number of people use our streets and our parks who come in from outside of our city every day. Over 130,000 jobs of folks who commute into our city. Every event at the Excel Center, folks who come in to use our parks. 45% of parks users, almost half of our parks users, come in from out of our city. A sales tax uniquely gives those folks the opportunity to help maintain the facilities and the resources that they use every single day. So I thank you for being here. We're excited for Asphalt Plant Thursday, and we're excited for the future that we're building to pave the way to an even more incredible future for our city. And with that, I think I'm handing it over to St. Paul Public Works Director Sean Kershaw and St. Paul Parks and Rec Director Andy Rodriguez.
Thanks, Mayor. My name is Sean Kershaw. I'm the Public Works Director for the City of St. Paul. To paraphrase a line, for good and not for evil, I love the smell of hot mix in the morning. I'm going to bring you good news and bad news. The good news is behind me in this plant. It's a diamond in the rough. It serves not just the people of St. Paul, but the whole region. And St. Paul's lucky to have this facility. The other good news is the men and women in street maintenance who do this work. I can't say enough about how much they do for the city of St. Paul. Their job is about fixing the city and making it better. They hate the potholes as much as anybody, and they are excited and ready to get to work to address the need that we have in streets. The bad news is that we're at a point when the streets are failing faster than we can fix them. And so we're going to get to work, we're going to make the streets better, we're going to fill the potholes, but we need the investment that comes from something like the local option sales tax. We need that to not just get caught up, but to stop failing faster than we can fix them. So we're excited to get this plant open. We're excited to serve the people in St. Paul.
Thanks, Sean. Andy Rodriguez, Park Director with St. Paul. As the mayor mentioned, we have the #2 park system in the nation, according to Trust for Public Land. Each year, our nationally recognized park system brings in over 15 million visitors from across the country. Whether you're attending an event downtown, biking along the river, utilizing one of our rec centers, we owe it to our users to keep it of that premier status. Our infrastructure needs are great, with over 180 parks, 39 community centers, a municipal zoo, multiple golf courses and aquatic facilities. We want to keep it that way, but we also have to balance for the future, and that's what this sales tax proposal also does. By bringing a new premier community center to the east side of St. Paul, in addition to other capital projects. So we remain super excited about this possibility and hope to see it come to fruition in the future. And with that, we'll pass it on to Don.
Like I said before, we couldn't do this work without the workers who do this work. It's really incredible to have the partnership with fantastic labor unions and workers who they represent in our community. We appreciate Don Mullen being here. We appreciate Joe Fowler being here from our laborers union. Who's going first? Joe Fowler from the laborers union. It's good to see you, sir.
Hello. Good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Joe Fowler. I'm business manager at Laborers 563, and we're one of the partners with St. Paul here, along with the operators, Teamsters, and some of the other folks that are really just ready to get back to work, fixing and repairing the roads that we have. Everybody here who drove probably hit a couple potholes on the way, and it's kind of seasonal work that we're able to do. The patch and the asphalt that goes in to repair those potholes works a lot better when it's warmer out than it is right now. But as we said, we're ready to get back to making the roads and bridges and everything else safe, and this sales tax increase is going to be what allows us to do that in a productive way that gets it all done, so that we aren't just piecemealing things together, that we can fix all the roads and all of the different transit ways that we have here within the city, and this sales tax increase will do that. It's a pay-to-play type deal. You got to make sure that we can afford to fix the infrastructure that we use every day, and this sales tax increase will do it. And as I said, our trade union brothers and sisters are ready to get to work, hopefully in a little bit warmer weather, and fix these roads for everybody here so they have safe driving and so that they have a little bit less wear and tear on their vehicles. And with that, I'll just turn it over to Don if he wants to say something as well. Thank you to the Public Works, and thank you to Mayor Carter for making the tough decisions that we need to increase the reliability of our infrastructure. So with that, Don.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody coming out on this beautiful spring day. I know it's warm, and I know we're all looking forward to 60 degrees, but I want to thank the mayor. I want to thank Public Works for their work. This is really about providing a pathway for a stronger community, and those that do this work look to make sure the streets are well maintained, and this is a great part of that. So I'm not going to repeat everything that Joe said, so I'm just going to thank you all and stay warm.
We appreciate our public partners who are here as well. We've had great champions on the St. Paul City Council, and certainly in our St. Paul legislative delegation and at the Capitol, who have helped us move this forward, who we're looking forward to continuing this leadership. I'm going to pass it to City Council Member Mitra Jalali, and then we'll ask our State Senator Sandy Pappas to back close out for us.
Good afternoon. I'm a little worried you can't hear us, so I'm going to project. I'm glad to join my City of St. Paul colleagues today to highlight the dire need for infrastructure funding through a sales tax. I'm here representing all 7 of my colleagues on the St. Paul City Council who support this proposal to meet the needs of hundreds of thousands of people living in and visiting our capital city. This increase of pennies in the sales tax will raise nearly $1 billion in needed revenue over the next 20 years to correct chronic, historic underfunding of basic infrastructure. As council members, we see every day the human side of these consequences. Our streets are at the center of our city climate action plan and one of the biggest systems we have to modernize to meet the needs of and curb climate crisis. We need to raise millions of additional dollars to reconstruct a road network that puts people at the center, from parents pushing their children in strollers to people trying to bike to and from school or their jobs. Our parks and rec centers are safe places for young children to go, and our staff are quite literally saving lives and responding to trauma every single day. But you might also not know the average parks building is nearly 40 years old, with dire maintenance needs at a tipping point in our city where we are more diverse than ever and have a younger population than ever before. We need to look to the future. We can't patch up a sustainable budget the same way we patch all these potholes. We need a dedicated additional source in the form of this tax, because right now that cost is borne most disproportionately by our lowest income, most vulnerable economically, and most diverse residents. So our council is committed to this proposal, and I want to also welcome our Senator Sandy Pappas to share some words from a state perspective. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mitran. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. I think I'm the only one here, though, that knows how to dress for winter. Still wearing boots, hat, and gloves. This sales tax proposal is extremely popular at the Capitol as the legislators, lobbyists, and advocates and citizens from all over the state visit our beautiful city but have to traverse around potholes, and some fail to do that, and I've heard of numerous people that have gotten flat tires. So the need is very obvious to at least the Minnesota Senate. I did want to address some comments. I've been on the tax committee in the past and looked at sales tax policy for its progressivity. And when you look at what we do in the state, we do not tax food, we do not tax clothing, we don't tax people's rent, we're not taxing the essentials that low-income people rely on. So it's not really as regressive a proposal as some people think. And with us being able to use our sales tax, we can also have visitors who come to the Capitol that can participate in paying for the repairment of our roads and for enjoying our wonderful parks. So I'm proud and pleased to be the author of this bill. We had a hearing on it recently in the Senate Tax Committee, and we hope to be moving it forward to victory. Thank you all.
And with that, we're happy to take any questions. To get the sales tax passed, there are two steps. First is getting approval from the legislature. What we're asking for the legislature to approve is the ability for us to take the second step, which is a citywide election. That would be hopefully this, if we're able to get the approval this legislative session, we look to take it to the ballot citywide this fall. I said from the beginning, this is too important a decision and it's too much money for me to decide by myself or for any of us to decide by ourselves. We want to take a question to our city, our entire city together, to determine whether having fundamentally better streets is worth a penny. Talk about?
Yeah, the question is who uses this asphalt plant. So this asphalt plant is used by cities in the entire region. People come here from Wisconsin. So this is what we call hot mix, which has become its own thing. But the hot mix that we're using right now is a more permanent solution, and so it won't pop out right away. But this plant, there'll be trucks lined up starting tomorrow from every city in the region, counties, and private companies. It's another phrase for asphalt. Yep. We started 2 weeks ago buying hot mix from a private company that was selling it. We needed some time to get this plant open, so we've been using hot mix for 2 weeks. This will greatly increase our capacity to serve, to fill the potholes and take care of it. We were also dealing with snow, so with the snow gone, all of our street maintenance crews will be focused on potholes. Yes.
Thank you for the question. The question is about the budget impact of potholes. The budget impact of potholes is enormous. Our city's public works crews end up all over the city trying to fill potholes and chasing potholes. We get a lot of complaints about potholes. It has an impact both on our city budget, but it also has an impact on people's family budgets. I'll tell you, one of the numbers that we just learned that was somewhat staggering is in 2022, we received 85 claims for pothole damage for the entire 12 months of the year. And for the first 2 months of 2023, we've received 250 claims for pothole damage. So we see the impact it's having on people in our community as well. It's a dual impact both on the city of St. Paul's budget, our municipal budget, but maybe an even greater impact on the lives and the budgets of the families who hit those potholes. That's a tax too. That's one of the points that we're making at the state capitol. That's a tax too, because when a family hits a pothole and gets a flat tire or busts an axle, hopefully that family can afford to get that thing fixed, which is a question of, can they afford to get to work? Can they afford to pay the rent the next month? It has significant domino effects, and we want to address all of those at the same time. Other questions? We have a map, so one of the tests for a sales tax is establishing regional significance. Go ahead. Oh, for the initial pothole patching, go ahead.
The question is, how do we prioritize the potholes? So we're focused first on the ones that are worst and the biggest safety danger. So what we do is look citywide. Our crews are looking. We get messages from residents. We focus first on the ones that are most dangerous. Second, we'll start running routes on our arterials and collector streets just to address all of those. And then third, we'll get to residential streets. Our first priority are the ones that are the most dangerous and causing the numbers that the mayor said. We do potholing. The question is, how long does it take? We actually do potholing all year long. We will do it all summer. Our goal is to get the ones that emerge this winter filled in the next month or two. But this is the worst season for potholes we've ever had because of the weather we had this winter and because of the age of our streets. So it will take longer.
Other questions? Yes. This plant was constructed in the 60s. What year? 62? This plant was constructed in 1962. Happy Asphalt Thursday, everybody. Thank you. That's right.